Welcome back here, everyone. I'm continuing my Week 1 NFL previews and analysis, and this video is for the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers going through a huge organizational change this year, okay, with a change of general manager and a change at head coach, obviously, bringing in Lovie Smith, all right, who they're going to employ now. His cover two principles into this defensive scheme, a 4-3 setup. So look for guys like Levante David, Gerald McCoy specifically, to really be, I would say, two of the top 10 best defensive players in the league this year because, they were great last year, first of all, and I think this defense really plays to their strengths. So I look for their defense, at least the front seven, okay, to be a tick better. Remember, in the back end, they did lose Darrelle Revis, all right? But you look at their offense, and to me, this is going to be the major question mark. Josh McCown, what is he? Is he the guy who was a career backup? Or is he a guy that is hitting his peak or is finally turning the corner in his mid-30s on the heels of, what was a great stretch of games that he started in place of Jay Cutler for the Bears last year? I tend to think right now, before I see him play with Tampa Bay and sort of prove it a little more, that he was a product of Mark Trestman, who I think is one of the better offensive minds in the NFL today. And also the fact that his receivers in Chicago last year were great, in Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall. Can Vincent Jackson, Mike Evans, okay, and Austin Seferian-Jenkins, can they be the trio that those three were in Chicago last year? That remains to be seen. Look for Doug Martin to have a little bit of a bounce-back year this year as well. I think a lot of the offense will be centered around him, at least early until McCown gets his feet under him, and then look for those guys down the field, those big targets like he had in Chicago. How quick do they mesh remains to be seen. For Carolina, look, I think too much was made of the weapons that they lost in the offseason. When I watched Carolina last year, I didn't really see too many receivers, at least that I saw, that were creating great separation and that were that much of an advantage for Cam Newton. So I was okay with them letting go of Steve Smith. Not that I don't think Steve Smith is a good player, but for what he was going to get paid, I like that they went out and got Kelvin Benjamin. Okay, I think they have functional receivers. I think they have a good tight end who meshes well with Newton in Greg Olsen. Now, the major question mark in this game is Cam Newton looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. Okay, so I'll outline what I feel about that here a little bit later. But we look at that Carolina defense, and look, I can't help but think they feel a little bit slighted. This is a team that everyone is down on. They still have all of their front seven intact. Okay, with the likes of, obviously, Greg Hardy and Luke Kuechly at the linebacker position and Thomas Davis leading the way. All right, I still think their defense is going to be above average. Okay, can the offensive line with a lot of new pieces, all right, how do they perform? And obviously in this particular game, the health of Cam Newton is going to be absolutely huge. I'm more worried about that offensive line for Carolina than I am about the receiving core. And I think the defense is still one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL based on how they played last year. I think Kuechly and obviously Greg Hardy, along with Gerald McCoy and Levante David, are 4 of the probably best 15 defensive players in the NFL as a whole, at least. They may be 4 of the top 10 best. So a game with good defensive players all over the place, with offenses with something to prove. If Cam Newton does play, which I think the line right now is indicative of him playing, because the line is Tampa minus 2.5. If he does play, okay, I like Carolina plus the 2.5. and to win outright on the road in Tampa Bay. If Cam Newton does not play, it looks like they're saying the line would go up to 4.5 with Tampa Bay favored. If that happened, I like Tampa Bay minus the 4.5. So I just wanted to give you guys 2 options here of what I'm feeling here. I think Cam Newton makes that big of a difference in this game. Okay, again, Tampa, if Cam Newton does play, Carolina plus 2.5. If Cam Newton doesn't play, Tampa minus 4.5. Guys, let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I preview every game every week. Thanks as always for listening. Have a great night.